Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Mai Rodriguez. President Bongbong Marcos has yet to decide on the recommendation to place the entire country in a state of calamity due to Paeng's impact. Disaster officials report that the number of fatalities due to the severe tropical storm now stands at 58, with 40 more for validation. And we speak to local officials severely hit by Paeng. Many parts of the country now reeling from the devastation brought by severe tropical storm Paeng. Paeng brought strong rains and heavy winds that caused massive floods and landslides in many parts of the country. Maguindanao del Norte had the most number of deaths, either from flash floods or from landslides. The military reports almost 600,000 individuals were affected in the Bangsamoro region. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao has declared a state of calamity. Let's go straight to the source of the story. BARMM Interior Minister Naguib Sinarimbo joins us this morning. Good morning, Minister Sinarimbo. Let me begin with this. You were able to reach the town of Datu Bla Sinsuat in Maguindanao del Norte. Tell us what happened in the area and why was it so difficult to reach?
Datu Bla lies at the northern part of the province. It is connected by two access roads, one by the coast that passes through Datu Udin Sinsuat. The other one is from the mountain of UP going down to Datu Bla. The two roads actually have been blocked. Two bridges in the Datu Udin Datu Bla section of the road has collapsed. Roughly around 2 kilometers of the road has been hit by landslides. So that's, we cannot pass through that, impossible now. The other road that leads to it via UP, one bridge there has been damaged. So there's no way we can get to Datu Bla except by sea. So the sea has been very rough for the past 2 days. And so finally yesterday, we managed to break through and get to Datu Bla by sea. And we had difficulty actually landing at the port in Datu Bla because of the waves.
Attorney Naguib, tell us exactly what happened po sa area. Many are saying, diba, nagka-landslide dahil that community which was buried was beside a mountain, at the foot of a mountain po. And there was also a flash flood. Ano po ang nangyari?
Yes, that's true. Essentially, the areas where we have recorded death, for us, this is quite a big number, is essentially the mountain areas of UP, Datu Bla Sinsuat, and Datu Udin Sinsuat. If you look at where we have the most number of deaths, which is in Barangay Kosyong, this is at the foot of a mountain, Mount Minandar. And there's a small river that flows from this mountain. Because of the heavy rain on 28 October, the whole night actually rained here. The water rushed down from this mountain. Because the rain has been heavy, lumambot na ho yung lupa sa gilid ng Mount Minandar. Nagkaroon ng pag-cave-in doon sa taas ng lupa. Sinundan nung tubig, so nagmixed yung lupa, bato, at saka yung water na mabilis na bumaba doon sa community sa Kosyong. Ito ho yung talagang nag-cause ng death. Similar incidents are actually recorded in Datu Bla. I went there, yung Matuber River, nag-overflow siya, and then yung sa taas ho niya na bundok din, ito ho ay nagkaroon din ng landslide. So ito ho yung talagang nag-cause ng death. The other sections of Maguindanao, essentially the marshland, yung communities around it, wala ho tayong recorded na death. Maski na meron tayong flooding rito. Dahil gradual ho yung rise ng water from the marsh. But in the areas, the mountainous areas in the north of the city of Cotabato, ito yung Datuudin, Datubla, and Upi, this is where we recorded a lot of death, actually.
Attorney Naguib, you mentioned yung Barangay Kusyong, Datubla, yung most severely affected. Ilan po yung mga bahay na natabunan, nasira, and how many residents are there?
Dito sa Barangay Kusyong, in particular, ang report ng communities dyan, around 80 houses ang tinamaan dyan and buried in a 5-hectare land. Yan ho yung subject ng retrieval operation natin. In essence, yan yung ground zero natin na continuing yung retrieval operation. Doon sa Datubla, essentially ho ay konti na lang yung nire-retrieve doon and in all likelihood ito ho ay naanod doon sa dagat. In fact, the other day may isa ng cadaver ng bata na nagland doon sa Bongo Island. This is the island facing Cotabato City at saka parang Maguindanao. So doon nakita yung bata. So ang concentration for now is really at Barangay Kusyong in Datuudin, Sinsuat. That's where we have set up an incident command post with the commanding general of the 6th Infantry Division leading and coordinating the retrieval operation. Siya ho ang incident commander natin dyan.
Yes, tell us the status po doon sa Barangay Kusyong in terms of, is it search and retrieval operations pa rin po?
No longer. So 2 days after, that's yesterday morning, we have decided na hindi na siya rescue operation kasi yung chances of survival ho ay masyado nang maliit. And therefore, we've turned into retrieval operation and deployed already heavy equipments in the area. In the past 2 days, mano-mano ho ang paghukay ng mga rescue teams natin dyan. But effective yesterday, may mga heavy equipments na ho na dineploy yung Public Works Ministry ng Bangsamoro government dyan at the disposal of the incident commander.
Well, kumusta na po yung mga residente, those who were evacuated from those areas, yung sa Barangay Kusyong, sa Datubla, because this hasn't happened, a scale of this magnitude po, it hasn't happened in the BARMM. How are you dealing with this po, Attorney?
This is true and part of the reason why mataas ho yung death toll natin dito. Hindi ho sanay yung mga kababayan natin sa ganitong klaseng disasters. Etong flash floods at saka landslides. We are used to the usual flooding here. That's the gradual rise of the Ligawasan Marsh and the consequential outflow ng river, ito yung Pulangi River, to the sea. So tumataas siya pero very gradual. So hindi ho ganito yung challenge. But this one, nagulat ho yung mga kababayan natin dahil hindi nangyayari nagkakaroon ng flash flood at saka landslide dito sa area natin. Also partly because dati naman hindi kami nakaka-receive ng impact ng typhoons that normally traverses the Visayas region and Luzon. Pero ngayon may buntot na ho sa amin yung tropical storms. So we are making the adjustments. Yung mga kababayan ho natin hindi ho sila sanay sa ganito. So
Marami
kailangan
po
ho talagang paghandaan na ito.
Marami po ang nagulat, even si President Bongbong Marcos because of the number of fatalities dyan po sa BARMM. And he was saying we need better forecasting, especially flood forecasting. Dito po sa case na ito, what did you encounter in terms of the forecasting? Was there sufficient warning in terms of how much rain you would get?
Yung pong advisory that we received from the national government was essentially yung swelling of rivers. Yun ho ang advisory. So wala doon sa heavy na downpour ng rain. So hindi ho ito yung preparations ng mga kababayan natin. So we issued an alert level blue nung na-receive natin yun doon sa mga communities natin, advising the DRRM offices of the provinces and the municipalities to make the necessary preparations. So hindi ho yung ulan na ganoon kalakas at katagal, buong gabi ho nung 28 ang ina-anticipate natin. So yun ho yung kasama sa mga challenges. Pangalawa ho ay kailangan natin tingnan maigi yung geohazard map ng mga communities na ito. If you look at the map, etong communities near the sea from Dato Udin Sinsuat all the way to Dato Bla, nasa paanan na ho yan ng matataas na bundok. Nung nakita ko from the sea kahapon, massive ho yung landslide dyan sa side na yan. Marami ho talagang sections nung bundok dyan ang bumigay. At ito ho yung nabuhos doon sa mga communities natin. So, in the succeeding weeks, as we have deployed yung damage assessment teams natin, we will look more thoroughly into the geohazard map and look at the positioning of our communities in these areas po para ma-factor in na ito.
Yes, very important po. Geohazard mapping, pinag-uusapan na po yan ever since Ondoy, ever since Yolanda. I hope you get the assistance that you need, sir. Good luck po. Thank you for your time this morning. BARMM Interior Minister Naguib Sinarimbo. We will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Paeng wreaked havoc in Western Visayas. Among those severely hit is the province of Antique. Its local disaster officials reported some of those who died in the province were farmers who were tending their animals when the flash floods hit. Our guest today, Antique Representative Antonio Legarda. Good morning, Antonio Legarda. So far, Congressman Legarda, could you tell us the extent of the damage caused by Paeng dyan po sa Antique?
Okay, good morning, Mai Rodriguez, and to all the viewers of the Source. At the moment, ang aking opisina ay patuloy na nag-monitor na with the implementing agencies of the national government and some of the vital sectors of the local government. As of the moment, the latest report for the Provincial Social Welfare Development Office shows that 27,476 families were affected by Typhoon Paeng, and 103,291 persons are currently taking shelter in evacuation centers across Antique. My office, in coordination with the Department of Social Welfare and Development, Region 6, have distributed food packs to our evacuees. Ang aking opisina ay nakipagtulungan sa mga otoridad for the rescue operations so that we can find, so basically that's what we have at the moment.
Congressman, let us talk about your infrastructure damage kasi po ang daming bridges na nag-collapse po dyan sa Antique, not to mention the roads that were destroyed as well. Do you have an initial assessment po doon sa damage in terms of the infrastructure?
Well, at the moment, we don't have the exact valuation of the cost of damage since we are still in the process of validating and consolidating every data. But as of the latest date from the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, there are 1,016 houses province-wide which suffered from total or partial damage due to the Typhoon Paeng, and around 2 million pesos in damages sa ating mga livestock at poultry sector. We are currently monitoring the situation, especially with our infrastructure, and conducted an ocular inspection to check the structural integrity, considering that these are numerous.
Medyo malaki po ang problema dahil rebuilding and rehabilitation would take so much time. Pero let's talk about po doon sa mga residents that were affected. 27,000 families you mentioned. Yung sa mga towns po, what are the most affected towns? And can you tell us what happened po? Ano yung nangyari sa mga lugar that were affected by landslides and flash floods?
About the towns that are greatly affected, out of the 18 municipalities that we have, mostly all are affected. Especially there are two towns to name Patlongon and Lawaan that were really greatly affected. I was there yesterday and I literally saw people being pulled out from the mud because of a mudslide. So it was really so surreal that talagang people really affected by this flood. And I've talked to some of my constituents and they have said that this is one of the worst flood experience that they ever had in their life.
Congressman Legarda, in terms of the fatalities, ilan na po ang naitala dyan, and are there still people who are missing?
So far, unfortunately, nakapagtala ang ating probinsya ng 9 casualties and 4 missing persons were reported. I am working closely with the provincial government to extend assistance to the bereaved families. I am pleased to announce that we have successfully found and rescued one of the missing persons who only sustained minor injuries.
Congressman, is there a need to declare a state of calamity? Nag-declare na po ba kayo dyan sa Antique?
We have not declared yet the state of calamity, but as what I know, I think the president is deliberating and thinking about that. But I think that would also be beneficial for our province, and so we could tap to the calamity fund of our local government.
Congressman, tell us right now, ano po yung assistance that's urgently needed from the national government?
At the moment, we have given relief goods to our affected families, but because there are so much of them, so we really need more assistance in terms of relief food packs, and also, of course, some financial aid. And in terms of the infrastructure that were destroyed, we are now seeking the help of DPWH to retrofit and reconstruct the bridges that collapsed during the typhoon. There's one major bridge that really collapsed, and this is the only way that we can cross to the south, because from south to north, there's only one bridge that really connects Antique, and that main bridge collapsed. So it would take, as what I heard from DPWH, about a month to reconstruct that bridge.
All right, thank you for your time this morning. Antique Representative Antonio Legarda Jr. We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Mai Rodriguez. San Pablo City in Laguna is under a state of calamity following the onslaught of severe tropical storm Paeng. 33 barangays were affected by Paeng. These areas recorded partially and totally damaged houses, damaged crops, landslides, and flooding. Our guest, Laguna Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office Head, Sir Aldwin Cejo. Sir Aldwin, good morning po. What is your assessment so far po doon po sa impact of Paeng in Laguna?
Good morning po, Ma'am Mai, and sa lahat po ng ating mga tagapanood. Sa ngayon po ay ongoing yung pagkuha namin ng damage report sa iba't ibang ahensya. At sa ngayon ho ay patuloy na rin ho na nagsasagawa ng relief operation sa iba't ibang evacuation centers sa buong lalawigan po. Sinimulan ho namin ito noong nakaraang araw pa. At may naitala ho kami na sa ngayon, as of the moment po, meron po ho kami 11,000 or rather 8,430 families inside the evacuation center with a total of 30,000 individuals.
Can you repeat that, sir? Yung nasa evacuation centers as of this time, ilang families po?
Sa ngayon po ay inside evacuation center, meron po 1,430 families and 30,328 individuals.
Okay, doon po sa areas that sustained a lot of damage because of the floods, ano po yung mga areas of concern doon? Ano po yung focus right now?
Sa ngayon po ay nabanggit ko na tuloy-tuloy po yung operations natin. Pero ang isa ho talaga ay yung pagbaha. Bukod sa baha ho ay tinitignan ho talaga natin dito yung water sanitation and hygiene na kung saan ma-prevent or maiwasan ho talaga itong transfer of infection. Dahil sa kasulukuyan ho, hindi pa rin naman ho tapos ang ating pandemic ang COVID-19. Kaya tuloy-tuloy po yung coordination namin sa iba't ibang bayan para mai-provide po yung basic services na kailangan po ng ating community. Lalo na ho, yung mga nasa evacuation center dahil sila ho ay naiwan yung mga kanilang ari-arian at kanilang iba pang pinagkukunan ng kabuhayan. Kaya tinitignan po ito at may pagpatuloy po. Kaya maswerte naman po kami dahil may nabuo kami na public service continuity plan.
Sir Aldwin, were there casualties reported in Laguna Province?
Unfortunately, based po sa aming coordination and monitoring, meron po kami 4 fatalities and meron din po kami recorded na injured na sa Pila and San Pablo.
Yung San Pablo po has declared a state of calamity. How is the city so far po?
Based po sa coordination namin sa BIM officer ng San Pablo ay kaya naman po sa ngayon daw ng kanilang resources yung nangyayari doon. Sa tulong din ho ng iba't ibang ahensya at sa pagtulungan din po ng Regional DRRM Council. At patuloy din po na tinututukan ng aming mahal na Governor Ramil L. Hernandez ang sitwasyon po sa San Pablo, pati po yung mga nabagsakan ng puno, yung kanilang mga bahay at yun pong mga nangangailangan dahil nagkaroon din po dito ng water supply
interruption
and power outage.
Okay. Let's talk about Binyan, which also suffered from floods. What is the assessment in Binyan and how are the relief operations there, sir?
Based on the monitoring and coordination sa mga DRRMO office, sa DRRMO office ng First District, kasama po ang San Pedro and Santa Rosa, ang Binyan po ay isa talaga sa humingi ng assistance para po may rescue yung mga natrap doon at mataas po talaga ang baha doon. At yun pong First District ay nasa tabing lawa ho talaga kaya kinakailangan ho talaga ay magkaroon ng preemptive evacuation. At sa ngayon ho, based po naman sa DRRMOs ay nagiging maayos po yung relief operations, yung clearing operations, and yun pong pagsasagawa ng basic services doon sa area ay nagiging maayos naman.
Ano na po ang the floods that we're seeing doon sa, based on the footage that we showed, malawak po yung naapektuhan. What is the focus of the LGU right now in terms of the clearing? Ano na po yung status ng clearing operations and looking forward doon po sa rehabilitation efforts po?
Opo. Doon po sa clearing operations, sa ngayon po ay pinasyalan na rin ho ng provincial government ang iba't ibang munisipyo para makatulong sa clearing operations. And dito ho naman sa flooding, talagang mataas ho ang pagbaha dyan at pinipilit naman po na ma-clear at magkaroon ho ng access yung iba't ibang resources natin. Unfortunately, yun po pagbaba ng tubig doon ay dahan-dahan pa lamang. Dahil kahit hindi umulan dito sa probinsya ng Laguna, kapag po umulan sa ibang probinsya ay naapektuhan po ang Laguna. Nagsuswell din po ang Laguna Lake dahil Meron pong 21 na major river tributaries ang Laguna Lake, magiging catch basin po. Pero hindi naman po pinapabayaan. Yun po paglilinis ng drainage, yun po sandbagging sa gawa ho dyan sa cities ng First District.
Yes.
Sa tulong din po ng national government.
Before we let you go, let's talk about the power and water situation in Laguna. Has power been restored in most areas, and the water po, is it back to normal? Water supply.
Yun po ay yes po, sa tubig naman po, normal na ho ang supply ng tubig. Doon po sa power outage, siguro ho, out of 30 LGUs, meron na lang ho kami 30% na nire-restore sa ngayon. At portion na lamang po ng ibang bayan ang walang kuryente na ibalik na ho kaagad para ho hindi na mabawasan po yung paghirap ng mga kababayan.
All right. Thank you for your time this morning. Laguna Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office Head Aldwin Cejo. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Mai Rodriguez sitting in for Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.